Hi, my name is Ashley Beal. I'm a registered dietitian, and today we are going to be making pizza bagels. I really like this recipe during a busy week or weekend where you can just throw some ingredients together and make an easy meal. You can really use whatever bread you want, but for today I'm going to be using bagels. I actually got the whole wheat bagels this time. One, because I don't think everything bagels will go really well with pizza, and two, it'll just give us some of the added fiber, which just helps with digestion and can keep us fuller a little bit longer. Today I'm going to make a few different variations of the pizza bagels I like to make. You can either follow along or do your own. For my pizza bagels today, I have my bagels. I have a jar of pizza sauce. You won't use a lot of pizza sauce, so if your grocery store has the mini jar, that would probably work best. But if all you have is a full jar, then buy some pasta, make some pasta marinara sauce, and then you have yourself a second meal. The varieties of pizza that I'm going to make today are broccoli and cheddar. I got broccoli florets that I'm going to dice into smaller pieces, and then I got some shredded cheddar cheese, pepperoni and olive. I actually found mini pepperonis at my grocery store, so I'm gonna give those a try, but you can absolutely use whatever kind of pepperoni or meat topping you would like. And I really like black olives. I know that these are a very divisive food. If you like them, great. If not, just do pepperoni or any other type of food that you like. You could also mix the pepperoni with the broccoli. Lastly, I'm going to make a chicken parmesan pizza. So for that, I'm going to use shredded cheese. I have a pizza blend here, but you could definitely use mozzarella and chicken nuggets. If you are not new to my channel, you know that the chicken nuggets, chicken tenders are kind of a staple around here. They're easy, they're tasty, and a great source of protein. So use whatever variety that you like, or maybe you have some leftover chicken you're trying to get rid of. Like I said, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to make a variety of different pizzas. You can either pick one, follow along with me, or do whatever feels best to you. For equipment today, I am going to use a cutting board and a knife. This will be to chop my broccoli into smaller pieces, as well as my chicken nuggets. And then the only other thing you're going to need is a baking dish and some kind of cover, either a silicone mat, parchment paper, or aluminum foil is fine. We are going to use this to roast our broccoli and our chicken nuggets, as well as bake our pizza once those are done cooking. To save time and dishes, I'm going to actually cook my chicken nuggets and broccoli on the same pan. I will preheat my oven to whatever the instructions say in my chicken tenders. Mine says 375 degrees, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. While we wait for our oven to preheat, I'm going to go ahead and chop and prepare our broccoli for roasting. For the broccoli florets, I'm going to take out the little pieces and I'm going to put them in the middle of my pan. With my bigger pieces of broccoli, I'm going to chop them into smaller sizes, so that way there's some consistency in sizing. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm gonna start with this much for now, so that way I have some extra room for my chicken nuggets. All right, now that I have my broccoli florets right in the middle of my pan, I'm going to grab my chicken tenders. And because I like my chicken tenders to be really crispy, especially when I'm putting them on pizza, I'm just gonna lay them around the outside edges of my pan, because whatever's on the outside of your pan tends to cook a little bit more than what's on the inside. So I'm just gonna evenly spread them around. It's okay if you don't have room for all of the chicken tenders, because you do still want them to be in a nice even layer. To make sure my broccoli is ready to roast, I'm also going to toss in a little bit of olive oil or any kind of oil that you have on hand, and some salt and pepper. and just kind of mix those in. Now, once our oven is done preheating, we're gonna go ahead and put these in the oven for about 30 minutes. Halfway through, I'm gonna take it out, flip over my chicken nuggets so both sides get crispy, and toss around the broccoli just a little bit. Now that you have your chicken and broccoli in the oven, don't forget to set those timers. I did mine at the halfway mark at 15 minutes. In the meantime, I'm gonna clean up a little bit and get my pizza making station ready. Just a little pro tip if you're short on time. If you have an additional baking pan, you can also start to prepare your bagels because we're gonna toast them in the oven first. So if that's the case for you, you'll take your bagels, split them down the middle, and just lay them across the pan. Make however much makes sense for you for today, or if you need to make even more for leftovers or your family, you're welcome to do that also. Because toasting them will not take very long, I'm gonna wait for the second round of cooking the chicken and the broccoli to put these in the oven, which means in the meantime, we can lay out some of our toppings. Get your jar of pizza sauce, your different cheeses, and any additional toppings you might be using. Did you know that if you can't open a jar, you can hit it on the side of your table, like this, and it pops right open? It's kind of cool. As always for canned goods, I just like to rinse off the top in case it's accumulated any dirt or dust. And then I'll open that as well. Drain out any of the juices. There we go. Okay, now we have 15 minutes left in the cooking process. I've added my bagels to the oven. I'm gonna check on those at about minute 10, so I've set my alarm for 10 minutes. You don't want them to be too toasted because we're gonna put them back in the oven with the toppings. While we let the chicken and broccoli cool, let's reduce our oven to 350 degrees for the pizzas. Now that we have our oven cooling down to 350 degrees and our chicken, broccoli, and bagels are cool to the touch, we can start to assemble our pizzas. I actually ended up leaving my bagels in the oven for the full 15 minutes. That left them nice and crispy. You can see that. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna prevent the bagel from getting soggy once you add the pizza sauce and the cheese. First things first, we're gonna get out our knife and cutting board from earlier, and we're just gonna cut our chicken nuggets into smaller pieces. Because this is only gonna be one of my 3 pizzas that I'm making today, you can see that I'm gonna have a lot of leftovers, which will actually be nice for future meals. So like I said before, if you have a large jar of the pizza sauce, you can mix it in with some pasta, add some chicken tenders to it, and you kind of have a makeshift chicken parmesan. We have our chicken, and our broccoli, and our toppings that we got out earlier. I'm just gonna place this to the side just to make more room, and then line up my chicken, my bagels, and my other toppings. Let's grab a spoon. Take some of your pizza sauce and generously put it around each bagel. For my broccoli and cheese pizza, I'm going to sprinkle some broccoli on the outside edges of 2 of my bagels. And then I'm gonna put a generous amount of cheddar cheese on top. For my pepperoni and olive, I'm actually gonna start with the cheese. You can do either, but I kind of like to see the slices of the olives and the pepperoni on top of my pizza. And then my mini pepperonis. Look how cute these are. And last but not least, my chicken Parmesan pizza. I'm just gonna take some of these chicken nuggets, put them all around my bagel slices. And this time I'm going to take my pizza cheese and put it over top. Here they go. And now we're gonna put them in the oven at 350 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes, just until the cheese melts. All right, now we have our pizzas. Once you've given your pizza a few minutes to cool down, we can give it a try. I think I'm gonna start with the pepperoni and olives one. So good. And I like the mini pepperonis too because I feel like you can get them in every single bite. And now not only do I have leftover pizzas, but I also have some additional chicken nuggets, some broccoli left over, which you could serve with these on the side or make another meal with them. If you go through some of my previous meals, you'll see some other options for chicken nuggets or chicken tenders. So maybe take a look at some of those. Either way, I hope you enjoyed your pizza. If you used any different variations, let me know in the comments below. I'll also do my best to link everything we use here today just for easy access if you need it. Otherwise, thank you for cooking with me today, and I'll see you next time.